Hello, welcome to the Shaman Energy card readings for January 2025, and just clearing the energetic air for this month of new readings. Some people have been asking about shamanism and also indirectly about Reiki. Just to start off with, shamanism is a very ancient belief system. They found remains of shaman and cave paintings going back hundreds of thousands of years. There are famous cave paintings in France, and there's also been burials uncovered in Europe and in the Middle East. And I will provide some links or some comments to that in the show notes. But shamanism covers a lot of different cultures, mostly indigenous Ainu and Japanese Shinto, and it is an important part of Eskimo, Native American, and Celtic cultures. In Korea, shamanism is considered a folk religion that is distinct from Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. In Tibet, shamanism was eventually replaced by Buddhism in the 9th and 10th centuries, but it came into Tibet in the 7th and 8th centuries, and prior to that there were basically two types of shaman. A white shaman who dealt with and communicated with beneficial spirits, and black shaman who, as you probably guessed, communicated with negative, evil, and dark spirits. So if you wanted to have your crops and your livestock be well, grow well, and be productive, you would ask for a ceremony from a white shaman. If you, on the other hand, wanted to do something malicious and evil for a neighbor, you would go to a black shaman to cast a spell. And you've got the yin and the yang in that. When Buddhism came into Tibet in the 7th and 8th centuries and eventually became the dominant religion in the 9th and 10th centuries, the Buddhists, as you probably recognize, have saffron robes, and from those saffron robes came yellow shaman. When the Buddhists came into Tibet, they brought reading, writing, study, a monastic lifestyle. They built monasteries and worked with the local population, which brought them into connection with shaman. Shaman who adopted Buddhist teachings as well as continuing to practice shamanism became yellow shaman, and they would use Buddhist terminology, and even wear Buddhist clothing in the as they ministered to their tribes or their villages. Black shaman would not yield to this type of activity or change, and they were persecuted, and that's where we get white, yellow, and black shaman. The reason for bringing this up is that the founder of Reiki, Dr. Usui, studied in Tibet in various monasteries. He learned Sanskrit, and he would read the original Buddhist manuscripts, and from that we get Reiki, which he introduced into Japan in the late 19th century, and then after World War II, many characteristics of Japanese culture became part of modern Western culture, and that's where Reiki comes into play. And there are many different types of Reiki, and I follow the Usui Shaiki Ryo Tibetan Reiki, and of course Tibet, shamans, Buddhism, white shamans, black shamans, yellow shamans. That is where I get my connection, and that is what I'm attuned to, is ultimately a form of Tibetan shamanism. So let's get on and look at the card readings for the first month of January 20. A couple of taps on the singing bowl for the 4 cardinal points of the compass, north, south, east and west. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Shaman Energy card reading for the week starting May the 5th, 2025. As I mentioned before, and regular viewers will know that I don't shuffle very well, especially on camera. So I've already shuffled. Let's go ahead and pick out the cards. And I think I'm going to take the top one first of all. And that's card 20. Feast of Plenty, Choices and Their Consequences. And this is a very interesting card. Feast of Plenty. It's very similar to the World card or the Ten of Cups in the traditional tarot. Feast of Plenty really is about all of the ships coming home. Love, wealth, abundance, success, whatever that means in your life, whether it's at work, it's competitive sports, or just simply sports, or something in which you count as being successful, and you're calling into your life to give your life some sort of added value. And love is pets, it's family, it's new relationships. And also, Feast of Plenty speaks to health and fitness. If you've been challenged by health issues in the last few months, well, the message here is that things are going to get better. I don't know if they're going to resolve, but they're going to get better. They're going to get easier. You're going to be happier with your ability to move, do, and see, and hear, and speak things. And we'll take another card from the middle here. And Benefactor, Oracle, and Generosity. Now, again, another beautiful card, all dealing with generosity and lots of good things. You can see a golden crown here. You can see coins, you can see lights. It looks like a mushroom turned upside down, because there's other mushrooms down here. And these are very traditional mushrooms used by shamans as part of their, how shall we say, psychedelic trips. But it's turned upside down. And it is actually one of those mushrooms, the psychedelic mushrooms. I'll put the name in the show notes. But everything is starting to come together, and what you're dreaming and what you're hoping for is what we're talking about here. So two cards right at the beginning of May. Spring has already sprung, at least in Ontario, Canada, but now things have to get growing, and we have some woodland close by that's managed by the city, and they've been doing a lot of getting rid of broken down and damaged trees. So there's been chainsaws going pretty much all the morning, but they're clearing away the dead and the dying and the rubbish so that new things can grow. And that is the message for this first week of May. Be positive, think happiness, and above all, spend a little bit of time in meditation, bringing in your hopes, dreams and wishes, clarifying what they are. But as I've said many times before, when people talk about building vision boards, it's okay to put, for example, a ring on the board, but don't be disappointed if the universe, if spirit, gives you something which doesn't look like the photograph or the design that you've put on the vision board. Accept it, accept what you receive, and be happy with it, and express your happiness. Thank the universe. And when you're dealing with meditation and you're expressing all of these hopes, dreams and wishes, don't have a picture of the person that you want to fall in love with. Don't have a look at the height, the weight, the physical frame of the person, color of eyes, color of their hair. Be accepting of what is presented to you by universe, because very often what is presented to you is better than what you originally was hoping for or designing your vision board for. So very positive, and be accepting of what you receive in this first week of May. One of the challenges I have is as a writer and author, I do two very extremely different types of books. One is factual books based on and dealing with diabetes and immune system diseases like that, and then the other is purely creative novel type books, and learning how to write in a way that readers will be happy to have read my book. They're excited to see what the next chapter is. They're excited to see what the next books are. This means protecting the future in terms of your knowledge and ability, and refining your knowledge and ability so that you can give people around you and people who may not even know you a reason to be happy knowing you through your creative endeavors. I mean, right now, it's spring. Camera clubs arranging trips. When I used to scuba dive, we would already have booked all of our adventures for the year for club members to participate in, and we would be gathering more information about dive sites and wrecks and places to go and what to do when you're there apart from just diving. There's all kinds of things that you can be doing to protect your future. So now is the time to think about that and starting to take action. Have a good day. Bye now. So that's a great card reading for the day. Have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.